Hey guys, it's Francesca. What's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before quarantine, I was getting dip manicures every 2 to 3 weeks. It was costing me like $45 to $50 each time, and it was getting really expensive. And so when quarantine started and all the salons closed, I still wanted a really pretty manicure at home, and so I decided to teach myself how to do dip nails. Every time I've done a manicure since then, I usually post it on my Instagram. Here are some examples of manicures that I've done. I feel like they've gotten a lot better with time, but every time I post a manicure, I always get a comment asking how I did that, what products I used. And so recently I asked you guys on my Instagram if you would be interested in seeing a tutorial of how I do my own nails. So I've decided to do that for you guys today. I've spent so many hours watching YouTube videos, trying to figure out tips and tricks to make my manicures come out better, because when I first started, they weren't the greatest, I'm not gonna lie. So I've decided to combine all of those tips and tricks together for you guys into this one video. So if you guys are watching, you guys should be able to just go right along with me as I'm doing my nails and be able to do them yourself at home. A lot of the products I'm gonna use today are from Revel Nail. This is not sponsored in any way, but I really love Revel Nail because one, it's really affordable, and two, they have these awesome starter kits for $45. They come with 4 colors and all of the liquids that you need to do your own dip nails at home. So I really recommend you guys check that out if you're just starting out and you don't want to spend a lot of money. Also, this week everything is 30% off because it's Black Friday, so you guys can get the whole kit for less than $40, which is great. It's an awesome deal. If you guys check out my description, you'll see there how to get that discount and how to find all of the products that I've used. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. Okay, so you're going to want to get a bowl of warm to hot water, as warm as you can handle it, and then a bottle of 100% acetone. 100% acetone is the only thing that is going to soak this stuff off. Just get a Ziploc baggie, and I pour some of the acetone in the bag. And you don't need very much, guys. I only put like this much. And then you're going to put that bag inside the bowl and put your nails inside. And then what you guys are going to notice is that the acetone is just going to completely melt off the dip powder. It takes like maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, now I'm just going to take my hands out of the bag and show you guys so far. This is after a couple minutes. You can just take a tissue and start wiping off the gooey layers of nail polish to kind of speed this along. At the salon, they will just take a drill and file the heck out of your nails. Makes them super brittle, it makes them super weak, and the salon is not going to take the time to soak your hands for 10 or 15 minutes unless you request it, because they're trying to get you in and out as fast as possible. As you can see, all of the polish is pretty much soaked off and gone. And also, guys, like, look at how long my natural nails have gotten. They're so long and beautiful from doing my own nails at home. There's a couple nails that I'm going to put tips on because they cracked and they broke, and so I'm just going to put tips to kind of match the rest of the other ones, and I will show you guys how I do that. I just got these on Amazon. To apply the tips, I use this glue. I also got this on Amazon. Take a nail file and I'm going to lightly buff the area that I'm going to put the tip on, and this is just going to help it stick. And you're going to want to hold it down so that there's no air bubbles anywhere. When you are shaping your nails, any kind of artificial extension, I recommend using a 100 or 120 grit file, because that is like a little rougher and it's going to help get that length down. Another really important tip that I have for you guys is to blend the seam between the fake nail and your natural nail. Don't use a super gritty file for this. I have a 180 grit file here. Just make sure that you are filing the artificial nail tip and not your actual nail when you're doing this. That way when you apply your dip powder, it's not super thick on one side and then thin on the other side. Okay, so as you guys can see, that tip of my nail is pretty flush with my natural nail. that's kind of how you want it. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to soak my hands in some warm water. I'm going to clean up my cuticle area, and then I'm going to use a buffing block to get all of the shine off of my nails. It's really important that you guys get the shine off because that is what prevents the dip powder from really sticking. Next step is super important. I'm gonna use a nail dehydrator. This one I got at my local beauty supply store. It's SNS brand, and I'm going to put this on all of my nails. You only need to put it on your natural part of your nail. If you have fake nails on, it doesn't have to go on the tips. And I'm just gonna put one layer of that on all of my nails. This dehydrator is what removes the oils from your nails and all of that so that your dip powder can stick. What you're going to want to do is, if you're just starting out, you can use a clear powder for this, or you can use a natural color. I personally use for my natural color Scarlet from Revel. It's basically translucent with a hint of very light pink. You can't even notice it. It looks clear. So I use this as my base layer, but if you're just starting out and you just want to use a clear coat for your top coat and base coat, you can do this with clear also. Now I'm going to go in with the Revel Nail Pro base, and it's super important when you're doing this, guys, that you work kind of quickly because this base dries pretty fast. Also keep in mind, wherever you paint base on your nail is where the powder is going to end up. I learned when I was doing this that it's really important to get an even layer of base on your nail, but especially on the sides of your nail. If you kind of have a thin layer on the sides and then you dip your powder in and then you go in with another layer, you're gonna notice that the sides get lumpy because you're not putting a consistently thick layer on the sides. I only go like halfway to 3/4 of the way on my nail for the base layer. When you're dipping your nail, guys, you want to go in at a 45-degree angle. You can either tilt the powder or tilt your thumb, but when you're dipping, don't go straight down and don't do any other weird thing, because if you go straight down, you can push the base kind of up your nail and make it really lumpy. This is another tip I have for you guys. So when I'm done doing this hand, I do not brush away the powder right away off the top of my hand. I will brush the excess powder off of the bottom of my hand first, and then I will move on to my second hand. You want to leave, or at least I leave, that very fine layer of powder on the top of my hand. I leave it on there and I let it soak into the base as I'm doing my second hand, because if you brush this stuff off too soon, you can create streaks and brush off some of the powder and dent it. So if you just give it a minute to set while you're doing your other hand, it will have a better application.
What if I told you I couldn't stay? Take me.
So now that this hand is done, I'm just going to very lightly brush off that top layer. Okay, so this is the color I'm going to be using today. This color is called Festival. The first application of this powder I'm going to do, I'm only going to do it about 1/2 to 3/4 of the way. The second one I'm going to do a little bit below that, and the third coat should be almost to your cuticle but not quite on your cuticle. I'm going to show you guys kind of how far I do it as I'm doing each layer.
Will you still be here? Will you still be here?
As you can see, it's about 3/4 of the way down my nail, so not very far at all. I'm now done with the second coat. As you can see, you can still see a good amount of my cuticle. I'm not going that far down, and in my third coat, I'm gonna go almost all the way to my cuticle, but not quite all the way. Okay, so this is just another tip I want to share with you guys for doing your third coat. It's really easy sometimes to flood your cuticle and put too much of that base coat there when you're first starting out, so I would really recommend you get some of these wooden sticks. I bought them on Amazon. You can also get them at Walmart, and after you apply your coat of base and you dip it in the powder, if you notice that you have gone too close to your cuticle line, you can just take this wooden stick and lightly scrape the perimeter of your cuticle and just get rid of that extra product. So I'm doing a darker color, and some of that color is staining my brush. So I'm just going to use this brush saver and dip my brush in there and shake it a bit. This happens like really commonly, so if you guys can get a brush saver, I really recommend that you do that, just to keep your brushes nice. And then I'm going to use some lint-free cloths to just wipe it off. The third and final coat is done. As you can see, I did not flood my cuticle. I just scrape with that little stick. So I really recommend that you guys do that if there's some areas that are a little thick. And next, I'm going to go in with a clear coat. I'm using the Vivian Clear from Revel Nail, and I'm going to put one coat of this on all of my nails, and this is going to help when you are shaping your nails at the end. This is going to prevent you from like shaping and removing that color off. Next, I'm going to go in with step 2 from my Revel nail kit. This is called the Activator, and when you're applying the activator, you're going to want to do one coat on all of your nails and then wait until it is dry. And you're gonna test that it's dry by you can just take a metal stick or a pencil. I use this little cuticle thing and I will just tap it, and you'll know that it's dry when it makes a clicking noise. When it makes that clicking noise is when you can go ahead and shape. I'm going to use a heavier grit to kind of shape the sides, and then for the top I'm going to use just a regular buffing block. If you notice that there's some lumps in your nails, I have found that a buffing block does a great job of smoothing it out. I have avoided using a drill just because I'm not super experienced with the drill. I've tried, but you can burn yourself really easily, and I've been able to get great manicures just with files and a buffing block. Make sure that you pay attention to the area around your cuticle. I usually go in kind of at an angle like that, and I just try to get down as much of that as I can, because the less you have it built up in your cuticle area, the more natural it's gonna look. You're gonna wanna go in with your activator again and do one more coat. It's also really important that after you guys shape your nails that you do not use soap. You just rinse them with water. So when you're all done applying that second coat of your activator, you're just going to take a lint-free cloth. I use this OPI brand that I got on Amazon. Or start rubbing your nails. And if you do not rub that activator off, it will make your finish coat and your finish gel look kind of weird and splotchy. And I'm going to show you guys how to apply this finish coat. So for this, it's kind of a tricky thing. There's a couple of tips I want to share with you guys. Before returning this brush to the bottle, you're going to want to wipe it on a lint-free cloth. I think it has to do with the fact that some of the activator can get back inside the bottle, and you just want to wipe it. The first coat of gel, you're just going to want to do 2 quick brushes over the top of your nail. Again, wiping it. This first coat does not need to be perfect. You just want to do a quick layer. I'm going to go in with a more detailed coat the second time. On this second one, you can really take your time more and make sure that you're doing an even application just so that it looks nice and shiny. And sometimes I will just reevaluate what my nails look like after this layer, and you can even put a third coat if you like. Then when you're done with your final coat of finish gel, you're gonna wait 5 minutes. 5 minutes is up and my nails are done. As you can see, they are so shiny and so beautiful. I'm now gonna take this Nourish by Gelish cuticle oil, and I got this on Amazon. And I'm just gonna do a light coat around all of my cuticles. The cuticle oil is really important because after soaking your hands in acetone and using the different chemicals and washing them so many times, it can really dry out your hands. I love how these come out. I think they're getting better and better each time I do them. But yeah, that's it.